Boom, baby, back. 2025, here we are once again. Happy New Year for those. This is my first time I'm back in front of the camera. It's almost February, and so like the year's already in full swing, but my first time in front of you also. I want to say Happy New Year in person. Oh, not in person, but yeah, through the camera. And Happy Lunar New Year for those who are celebrating the lunar year. I think it was yesterday. Kevin came over last night. We were having a chat. It's the year of the snake. I don't know what that means exactly, other than it's cool. Oh, so I don't know what it means, but I bought myself year of the snake beads. You like them? Cool. Yeah, just to celebrate the new year. It's always something a bit of fun. Hoping everybody's well. Where have I been? Firstly, I want to say thank you to all those people who did send me personal messages. So I got emails, I got DMs, and I got messages through YouTube. I really am so, the question was, is everything okay? Everything was fine. I'll tell you where I've been. But I want to thank you guys. It's nice to, it was humbling to receive these messages and to look out for my welfare and my family's welfare. But we're all good. Everybody is really, really good. Where have I been? Boom, here. So for the last, I used to have so to give you a bit of background, I used to have an event management business years and years ago. I sold it and did a lot of work for the Australian Open, bada bing, and all these photos here. And they love the way we operate, and you know, we are in the sensitive areas, meaning that we're directly related to the players. So we actually work alongside the players, and we're talking all the big stars. So they want to know that there are people that they can trust in this space. So we've been fortunate to continue to work with them. So it's been, like, as I mentioned, 27 years that we've been doing this work with the Australian Open. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Have a look at, these are my steps in December. That's my average steps. Have a look at what we did in January, or what I did in January, bada boom. So it's a very busy time for us, meaning that it's an early start, late finish. We ultimately finish when not necessarily when the players finish, but you know, we have to be available, you know, to make sure that they run smoothly from them. We're the people that you don't see in the background, that make sure that everything runs smoothly for the event to look as good as it does. So they're long days, and as a result, I did want to do some episodes and get a mate talk out, but I'm like, I can't do it all. I think I can. I've got, sorry, I'm going to lean forward. I've got this guy on my desk, because I'd like to be like Superman, but I'm not. I'm just a normal person, a normal human being, so I couldn't do it all. So anyway, here we are, we're back. This week, I'm so sorry, no episodes. So nothing's coming out this Sunday. I just wanted to kick off with this mate talk. This will be my sort of, you know, when you have a beautiful car or a motorbike. My son had a gorgeous BMW motorbike, and he would always turn it on and leave it idling just to warm up the engine. That's what we're doing. We're just warming up the engine so we can kick off 2025 and then just keep producing the content that hopefully everybody enjoys. So today, what I wanted to do is do a bit of a recap. I will be talking about some fragrances that I have been testing. I'll tell you all about that in just a second. And also get my wheels. I feel like I've got training wheels again, because my sort of remembering what I am doing when it comes to mate talk. If you are new to mate talk, and this is the essence of what hopefully will happen today, is that it is one continuous roll. I mean, that's never going to change. So the reason for the one continuous roll is so you can see me. You can see who this person actually is. You can hide a lot of things with cuts. You can see the process of, you know, almost like the ticking brain as I try to pull myself out of a hole in some cases, or say that, you know, like now, just stay on course, keep moving forward. The other part that I love is that it becomes a very intimate conversation between us. Mate talk, in fact, is a play on two words. One is yerba mate, which is what I'm drinking here. By the way, this is a gift from George Zaharoff when he was here in Australia. So thank you again, George, for this is my new mate. I always use this one here now. So yerba mate is a drink that we do as Argentinians between friends. It could be midnight. Mate will be coming out, which is crazy to think. because it has a thing called mateina, which gives you a little bit of a pep. But yeah, mate is always drunk between friends. It's all about, it actually inspires conversation. It's all about getting together with friends and having real conversations with people. And mate in Australia is about friends. It's actually, when you call someone a mate, it's actually someone who you enjoy being with or love as a friend. So Mate Talk is all about that. It's us connecting worldwide when it comes to all things niche perfumery and other things. So there's other things that also become part of this conversation. Now, what I wanted to do, And the other thing that, which drives my poor wife insane, is me starting conversations, never quite finishing them, but that's okay. That's part of Mate Talk, because that happens actually in a real conversation. And I was actually paying attention throughout the tennis, listening to people talk, and they start, and then they stop, and they go in a different direction. I'm like, everybody does this. It's just that it's on camera and it's recorded forever. One last thing. If there's any part of this that you're like, I just want to move on, everything's chapter mark. So you can bounce around or sit and stay with me as we have this engagement together. There are big plans, and I'm talking with capital letters here, for 2025. I thought 2024 was a big year for us. In doing if you've missed this particular wrap-up video, have a look at it. As we were building this, I could not believe, to the point that I was actually fact-checking myself, that these actual events actually happened all in 2024. I thought, no, surely they happened in 23. No, this is all we did in 2024. So have a look at that video. It really is, it's so, yeah, it's exciting, the amount of things that we got up to. So, and I'm grateful that it's not me on my own, it's myself, my team, and everybody's involved with the NFC channel. 2025, there are huge plans. The equivalent, and I've said this to my team, is that we're attempting to put a man on the moon, or a woman on the moon, or a person on the moon. That's how big some of the plans that we have scoped out for this year. I'm not going to reveal too much because some things are in play at the moment and waiting for them to take shape and take more form. We've had, yeah, it's going to be, we've got an exciting year planned ahead. One thing that has taken form and very much taking shape is a concept that I was sort of playing around with back in 2023, and that was the ability to bring people with me on this niche journey that I'm on. And I've always had a sense of adventure. I've always had a sense of discovery. I am, in Australia, we call a person like me a sticky beak, which basically, if there's an animal called the echidna, it has a sticky beak, and that way it can eat termites and ants and all that sort of stuff. It attracts it to them. So yeah, as a kid, I was always deemed a sticky beak, only because I'm super inquisitive. I'm always like, you know, what's if there's noise or there's a ruckus or something going on, I want to know what's actually happening. So it's that inquisitive nature that I thought I'd like to bring others and show people stuff that is behind the curtain, you know. So yes, you can enjoy beautiful perfumes, but why not enjoy these beautiful perfumes with the creators or with the perfumer, or understand more, you know, the motivation behind. So that led me to, in 2023, to do the Essence Tour. 3 beautiful people from around the world joined me for that particular event. It was a test to see, can I actually hold people's attention? It was a great success. It was so much fun. You can watch this video. It was just a fantastic event. It then inspired Kevin and I to create KM Fragrance Tours. So for those people who want to really become a lot more immersive when it comes to the niche experience, more than just spray and smell, it's about now discovering and going deeper and understanding more about these beautiful brands, then we created a KM Fragrance Tours for that very purpose. First in the world, the Essence Tour that's happening now in Milan. So it's the Milan Essence Tour. There are 20 people from around the world who are going to be joining us, literally around the world. Look at these flags. We're bringing people from the people who all enjoy niche perfumery and have seen the stuff that we've done previously when it comes to our other tours, such as the 2 tours that we've done in France. We're taking them on a 1-day whirlwind experience. And I don't want to, I mean, we've already shared with the people on the tour what we're going to be up to. And let me just say, there are some surprises. That's all I'm going to say. So for those who are joining us on this, we've told you what you need to know, but there might be a few other things that a little bit of extra sprinkling of fairy dust or sort of a little bit of extra magic that will happen on the day. So this is something that Kevin and I love doing. We love revealing little surprises on the actual day. Now, on that particular tour, we will be going through Aix-en-Provence. I won't be able to, I mean, we're going to be there with these guests, so my attention and my time will be for these beautiful guests who are going to be joining us. However, if you happen to be in that area and you would like to catch up and you want to connect, I am doing a meetup. That is on Wednesday the 19th at 6:30 p.m. at the Foyer Boutique, which is in the Galeria Emmanuel. Now, for those, if you are in the region and you're going to Aix-en-Provence, blah, 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 please, I'd love to see you. You have my full attention there. We can hang out afterwards. We can go get a gelato, whatever you want. But that's on the Wednesday the 19th. A train ticket isn't that, well, I don't think it's that expensive. So if you happen to be close to Milan and you're able to come across, I'd love to meet with you. So Wednesday the 19th, Foyer Galleria at 6:30 p.m. That would be awesome to connect with you guys. Now we are doing a much larger luxury tour, which goes for 9 days. I mentioned before that we did a tour in 2023, which was the France, the fragrance tour. It was a 6-day event. It was absolutely phenomenal. Then we rebooted France again last year. Have a look at that wrap-up video. You'll see a great little sort of snapshot of what all that was all about. That was now an 8-day, and we realized we want an extra day for a bit more luxury, a bit more flavor in there. So the Italy tour, which is happening in September, is a 9-day luxury tour. Rome, Florence, and Milan. They're the three big cities that we're seeing. And have a look at the KM Fragrance website, KM Fragrance Tours website, and you'll see some of the activities that we're doing. If you want to know more, please DM me. Questions like, where are we going to be eating? Will my dietary requirements be met? Where are we sleeping? Am I going to be, sharing a room with someone else? The short answer is no. Just ask me these questions because there's only 3 spots left. It was very exciting. We did a pre-sale to all our past guests from the other fragrance tours, inviting them to join us for this Italy luxury tour. And we, as I said, we nearly booked this thing out just with past guests. So there are 3 spots remaining. If you want to know more, please jump on the website, ask me questions. Kevin and I will be doing a much more detailed video explaining what it is once we're in Milan. I think we both agreed that to do it here from the office and we're in the studio is cool, but to be actually in location, but I'm being forget about it, baby. That's what we're going to do. There it is. Small drink. This is the old classic. And this beautiful brand here. Actually, one promise that I've made to myself. I'm going to try and talk less in mate talks. I know it's a hard... That's like putting a man on the moon for me, but with a slingshot. Trying to ping that person across with a slingshot. It's a hard thing, but I'm going to try my best to really stay focused, keep these mate talks tight. Allora, a brand that we don't have here in Australia is Pantheon Roma. When I go to Europe, and this is not to sound braggy, I promise, this is not to sound braggy, I love Italy. I just love Italy. I mean, I married an Italian woman. That gives you the idea. Anything Italian, I'm like, I'm all in, baby. And we love going to Rome every year. Again, not to sound braggy, it's just something that we love doing. It's, and every time I go to Italy, I love Italian perfumers. And every time I go to Italy, I'm just constantly trying to explore. And I knew about Pantheon, but never got around to them. And when I'd get back, it's like always, you know, on the journey up, you're like, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to do that, boom, boom, boom. And when you get there, you start getting tired, or you're full, or you've smelled so many things that you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you get back home and you're like, don't eat, dum. Why didn't you explore that? Anyway, long story to say, that I only had a chance to properly explore this brand since Cannes last year. So we met up with the beautiful people of Pantheon Roma. They are part of the Italy tour that's coming up. They are going to be part of our Rome experience, and we're planning something just off the hook with these people here. They are so, they've caught the vision of what we're trying to do, Kevin and I, when it comes to these experiences, and they are just, they've embraced it. They've embraced this concept. Now, while I met with them, they were very generous, and they gifted me, or they said, choose a fragrance that you like. I smelled a few and instantly fell in love with this one here. This is Anniversario. I have spoken about Anniversario before. It's a fragrance that is in high rotation within my collection. I constantly use it. This is something that Sandra, my wife, is also constantly using. And so what I wanted to do today, and then what they also did is they also gave me a collection of samples, a nice, beautiful, big fat travel size style, for me to explore the rest of the range. So what I've done and what I'm going to do is put forward to you 5 fragrances. If you're new to Pantheon and you'd like to explore them, then, I mean, the truth is the whole collection is just off the hook, but I don't want this to be an hour-long Mate Talk because yours truly is actually editing this. My team are still away back next week, so I'm going to be editing this piece, so I got to keep this tight, baby. We'll see. So today what I want to do is give you a recommendation on 5 Pantheons that I would recommend to you. The only one that I have in my collection is Anniversario, but when I get back to Rome, which is going to be in a couple of weeks' time, then these other 4 are in my line of sight, and I have received the permission, the blessing from my financier to push the button, baby. So I will be pushing that button. The first one I'm going to put forward to you. Oh, sorry, last thing. So rather than do this just me and my smelling, because it's always good to get a comparable sort of like a rating, during the tennis, I had this young man here. For those who are familiar with the channel, you know him as Sir Siage. He was actually part of this smelling. So I'd been testing quite a while, but I did a smelling session with this man here. Can you see the edge there? There's a foot, or a leg, I should say. Who is that? None other than the Aromatic Kid. He's back. Both boys I'm planning to do some more segments with these awesome young men. They're just such good boys. So we did a small session together, the 3 of us. We were all working at the tennis, and so we experienced all the fragrances, and the ones that I want to put forward to you are ones that we all rated in different ways. So you're going to hear my version of my perspective on it, and then their perspective. Boom, let me begin. So I have spoken about Anniversario, the rating that we gave it each. So for me, 10 out of 10, all right? Josh, or Aromatic Kid, he gave it 7 out of 10, and Elias gave it a 5.5 out of 10. Why? So for Elias, and Josh said the same thing, they both felt that it's a very feminine leaning fragrance. I let them, so one thing that we did just as a precursor, we didn't look at notes. These are just first impressions, and I'll go one more. The only times I've looked at notes is now. So in preparation, I've now opened up and had a look at, what are the notes in the actual fragrance. So all I'm gonna share with you is what our impressions were and the feelings that we get from these particular fragrances. So both the boys felt it's a very female leaning fragrance because of the very bright, happy, fruity opening that it has. The guys had a hard time trying to sort of pinpoint it, and I've said this before, that it's hard to actually say it's this and this. In fact, the 2 opening keynotes is a strawberry and a peach. I think there's a coconut in that opening too. The reality is you're getting a very gentle, fruity touch to it, even to the point where Elias felt that it had like a pear-like quality to it. I think it's the mixture of some of those base notes also coming forward with a vanilla touch. When it dries down, which I am now, it does go into a very vanilla pastry-like. So think of a beautiful, if you have a beautiful French bakery, and I'm going to say French, okay, because French bakeries, they love, or French bakers love to accentuate butters, and they love to accentuate the sweeter vanillas and things of that nature. And that's what definitely comes through, that aroma of that gourmand, that the mouth-watering cake-like quality of it. This is a fragrance I wear, and both boys were, not that they were surprised, because they know that I have a broad collection and I enjoy wearing anything. They just felt that for them, for these young men, it was not necessarily a fragrance that they would feel comfortable, but they would love to smell this on a woman, a young lady. They actually commented that a few times, that this on a woman would just be absolutely divine. The reality is, and this is my comment to you boys, so girls, easy, all right? So Sandra wears this and she smells gorgeous, but boys, I strongly recommend, do not be afraid of this fragrance. Yes, it does have that fruitier touch. It does dry down a bit more, as I said, a bit more cake-like. It does have woody elements. I'm pretty certain it has patchouli. I'm getting a slight musty patchouli and in that sort of, in that base. So it comes down from that fruitiness. For those people who are familiar with the fragrance by Xerjoff, La Capitale, it's very similar to that. So La Capitale also has a strawberry and peach, but it's very distinct. You can smell strawberry peach, whereas here you're getting this fruity, berry, something pear-like, sweet, delicate. Then La Capitale dries down musky. This does not dry down musky. It does have that cake-like, vanilla-like quality. It is in celebration to a cake, Anniversario cake. It's a Californian cake. I'm not familiar with this, but I know that I want it, wherever it might be. I'm happy to enjoy it, because if it smells as good as, if it tastes as good as it smells, there you go. If it tastes as good as this smells, then bada bing, baby, it's just like gorgeous. Interestingly, Sandra was editing earlier as I was prepping. I sprayed Anniversario. I had been spraying others, and her instant response, so as it wafted across to her, was, whoa, what is that one? So it gives you an idea. Boys, don't be afraid. I think it's a fragrance that will definitely draw a feminine nose, a female nose. It's very appealing, but it works well on a man. It's just gorgeous. Just a gorgeous fragrance. So 10 out of 10 for me. As I said, the boys were boop, bada boop. There it is, right there. All right, moving on. Bing, bing, bing. Let's have a look. The next one, but before I do that, man, I wanted this thing to come in at 25 minutes. I'm already at 22. Come on. Sorry, guys. Everybody, ooh, meta. There we go. Anyway. I'll do one more and then I'm gonna stop. All right, next one. This gorgeous, gorgeous thing here. Where are we? Beep, bop, boop, 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 boop. Yes. DOLCE PASSIONE. I wrote down, I said, this is a sensual, lusty lover's embrace on a cold night. That's my description of this fragrance. I'll tell you the rating in a second. When we first sprayed this, the boys were just like enamored. Elias, who's super expressive when you get to know him personally, he's so funny, some of the things he says. But instantly, he's like, bro, she would just want to eat you. She'd just want to get into your neck and just, oh, she just want to. So he was like, this is a fragrance that has a high dosage of sensuality, that has a very gourmand, very amorous sort of feeling to it. Then Josh went on, she just can't get enough. So it gives you an idea that this is something, and I think it's aligned to the name of the fragrance, DOLCE PASSIONE, which is sweet passion. It's something quite divine. Now, the core of it is a cacao. It is a chocolate fragrance, but not milky in any way. When it opens, to all our noses, we're getting a very deep, dark, roasted hazelnut sort of scent profile to it. Instantly, when you think hazelnut, you start in chocolate, you think Nutella, nothing like Nutella. So that sweetness that you find in Nutella when you sort of inhale it, glorious smell, by the way. It's not like that at all. So it has a much deeper cacao depth to it. It almost also has a semblance to like roasting coffee beans. So if you smell, like if you go to a roaster, you can smell that deep, rich, dark bean being roasted. It's similar to that. It's interesting, and as I was looking, because all three of us were convinced that there is some kind of nutty element to it. It doesn't exist. So there are other notes in there, but I think it's that cacao. It does have a chocolate in the opening. I'm pretty certain it has chocolate again in the heart, and it has this very deep, almost realistic, dark chocolate cacao scent profile to it. What I love about this fragrance is its evolution. It's actually spectacular in the sense that where you begin, you have this very, like I said, dark and sensual fragrance, and it does dry down sweeter. It does go into a much lighter touch, vanilla in its sort of profile, never into deep gourmand. So it doesn't go into this super sweet, sugary sort of fragrance. It retains those earlier roasted dark chocolate notes, but now it's come off. It's not as deep and heavy, I guess. Our rating. So Elias gave this 8 out of 10. Joshua 9.5, and myself, this is 10 out of 10 for me also. So everything, so just I'm going to say 10 out of 10. These are all the ones that I've lined up for myself when I get over to Italy. If you like Pardon, so for those who are familiar with Naso Mato's Pardon, the difference with this, because Pardon does have a bit of a chocolate sort of vibe to it, but it has some aromatic pieces to it, whereas Dolce Passione stays in the gourmand realm. Yes, I think there is also patchouli in the base. I'll put it here if it's right or wrong. But there are some woodier elements to it, but it stays very, very much scented within a gourmand fragrance. I wrote here, beep, bop, boop, what else did I write? Dries down, sweet, but never, sorry, I can't see this close. I'm gonna have to lift up my glasses. Yeah, never loses the chocolate touch, sweet toned, but not bitter. Okay, yeah. The other thing too, sometimes I find that dark chocolate fragrances has a bitter animalic sort of lean towards, or an element. Not the case here. It always stays very deeply within a gourmand space. So gorgeous fragrance, massive recommendation for those people who love those date nights, those gourmand fragrances. Dolce Passione, bada bing baby, gorgeous. The next one. Now, I will give you the rating early so that you can see how the boys landed on this. So this is COSI Blue, and Elias gave this a 7.5, Josh a 6. So 7.5 out of 10, Josh gave it a 6 out of 10. For me again, 10 out of 10. And this for me was instant love. So when I first got the sample, I tested and I'm like, whoa, who are you? Where have you been? It took me a little, it's interesting, it took me a little while to actually land on what the fragrance is, which in fact is an incense fragrance. That gives you an idea of how different of an incense fragrance it is for those people who are sort of shying away from incense fragrances, a bit sensitive towards them. So I'm looking at my time. This is gonna pop any second now. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna stop because I'll reboot. Bada bing. Back. So COSI Blue, for those who are a little bit reluctant when it comes to incense fragrances, sometimes incense fragrance can be over the top with that church-like, heavy resinous incense piece to it. This here does this incredible balance with its opening and all the way through the fragrance. For me, I get a very dry black pepper on that opening. There is almost like a woody touch to it. Then, to my nose, I get like a citrus green-like tinge to it. There's a plant, or there's a tree here in Australia called lemon myrtle. It has a lemony, so when you grab the lemon myrtle, it looks like a eucalyptus leaf. You grab that, you crush it, you get this balance between this green herbal-like element, but with this lemon zest to it. It's just the most, on a hot, stinking hot summer day, if you happen to be in the Aussie bush, and it's like the lemon myrtle just comes out of the ground. It's so incredible. It diffuses itself into the air. It's just divine. So I get that green piece to it. And then finally, I do get an incense, which is, it's funny because it goes church-like, but then it moves away from that into this more green piece to it. It does dry down into that incense eventually. It takes a little bit while. I've had this now for about 2 hours on skin. So when it opens, it does sort of move through slowly to finally where I am now. But it is, it's like a dusty incense. It doesn't have, some people, this is a beautiful fragrance called Zafiro. Some people find that too incense-like. I mean, at the end of the day, Zafiro is a celebration of Rome, all the churches that are in Rome. So I think it really wants to accentuate that incense piece to that fragrance. Whereas here has a little bit of that incense, but not over the top. For those who like Ivory Route from Xerjoff, it has a similarity to that, in my opinion. The difference is that it does have more green touch to this fragrance here. What I love about this one here is that it has volume. How did I say it? It has presence, but it's not loud. So it has volume, but it's not over the top where you're like, you know, you will fill a whole room. However, I mean, I'm covered in fragrance, and COSI Blue is the one, because as I was preparing, so I'll finish the sentence, COSI Blue is the one that keeps popping forward. As I'm sort of moving my arms, and as I was preparing, I could smell something. I'm like, who are you? COSI Blue, you know? So it gives you an idea of how distinct and how present this fragrance is. The other thing that's interesting is the bunch of, I like this, by the way. What you're smelling on skin, very incense-like, a lot more leaning into that. What you're smelling in the air, two different things. So it's one of those fragrances where let it do its thing. It'll create the magic in the air as opposed to you inhaling. Unlike DOLCE PASSIONE, where you can inhale that for hours and days. And as Elias was saying, the person that you're wearing this, the person you're with wants to eat you, you know, just wants to bite into your neck. COSI Blue is not that kind of fragrance, but it does have great presence. Beautiful for a man. I think it'll be gorgeous on a woman. Actually, I know that this is also leans towards a female. When I was testing early on before the tennis, one of my editors, a young lady by the name of Grace, she actually wanted to borrow it. I'm like, I can't give this to you yet because I need it for her. But she's like that. She was absolutely knocked out by the beautiful presence that this fragrance has. So easily a fragrance that a woman can wear. Boom. I gave you the ratings before. All right, so next one is one called Raffaello. Now, the whole brand, Pantheon, is centered around the painter Raffaello. I'm gonna discover more about this, so I'm gonna understand more. There's a lot of different pieces when it comes to Pantheon. Why is it called Pantheon? What is it about? The bottle itself, the different designs, yada yada. So I'll share more as I bring more into my collection. But one thing that is for certain is a lot of it is centered around Raffaello. Now, this fragrance here, let me start off by saying, if you love leather fragrances, so sometimes leather fragrances is like more of a masculine territory. Ladies, this is an awesome place if you would like to begin to, I guess, experience leather fragrances. This is fantastic. I wrote here that it has touches of animalic, but it's not brutal. So it doesn't have that sometimes very deep animalic intensity that a lot of boys love to have in their fragrance. The key part here, I feel, is this wonderful green, aromatic, almost fruity touch to the fragrance. When we first sprayed, all the boys, so myself and the two boys, we all felt that, yes, you could detect that slight leather touch, not suede. And this is the interesting, because sometimes you feel like a subtle leather, more suede-like, more malleable. With here, it's leather. You can just, like a leather boot, you know, it has a presence to it. But there's these other pieces that are coming through, and those pieces that we all agreed on there was a green-like quality to it. It did have a slight aromatic nature, so think lavender or I've discovered that it's absinthe. That's the mystery note that's in there. And it does have like a fruity quality. Elias, I like the way he defined it. He said it had like a dark fruit, like a plum-like quality to it. There's no fruits, there's no dark fruits. So I'm gonna say it's that absinthe. If I compare it to Nasomato's absinthe, it does have a sweet piece in there. So I've never smelled absinthe on its own as its own piece. So maybe it has, that's that particular note that's creating this particular nuance to the fragrance. If you like Irish Leather by Memo, the difference with this is that it now has more of a green aromatic lean. It does have that, as I mentioned, that fruitier touch. Now the boys and I, we rated this one quite highly also. Josh put it at 8.5, Elias was 7, and I'm again a 10. This is another one that I love leather fragrances. I think leather fragrances denote they're statement makers, you know, where a beautiful leather fragrance commands attention. And this one here is gorgeous for that. Let me see what else I wrote. Oh yeah. So one thing that I did discover, so there's no fruit, but there is pink pepper. Sometimes pink pepper can create a berry-like quality to it, so like a slight fruitiness. Oh, I've heard, again, I haven't sort of isolated that in nature to understand its complete nuance, but I know that pink pepper is used as a fruitier touch in fragrances, and that could be what is happening here. Massive recommendation. Raffaello. Let me see where I got it. Nope. See that? So it's that. And I love the fact also that the leather does have like a slight bitter. That greenness there's a bitterness in there too. It's definitely a statement maker. Gorgeous fragrance, beautiful for a man to wear. All right, last one. Now, interestingly, the boys did not rate this at all. I'll give you their numbers early on. So 6.5. So you know they're like, oh yeah. There's others that they rated high, but I wanted to include this one here. So this is Nerone. And so Josh gave it 6.5, Elias 6 for me, 10 out of 10, baby. This is the classic repulsion attraction. On first opening, everyone's like, ooh, wow, ooh, what's that? And then they're like, ooh, what just happened? It sort of comes in, it does a sneaky turn on you. Opening, there is a touch of like burnt sugar. There's something inviting that quickly grabs your attention. But then it sort of, then it just sort of slaps you, you know, and then it goes, no, I was only joking, and it gives you some sweet notes again, almost citrus and like a baked orange. So if you get orange pieces, you put it in the oven, a bit of sugar on top. It has that. Then it's like, oh, and you're like, oh, that's not, you know, pop, and it slaps you again, slaps you again, and you're like, whoa, what are you doing to me? I love when fragrances do that. I love the I don't know where I stand with this, other than it's glorious. And this fragrance here is absolutely, absolutely spectacular. What else did let me see what other notes I wrote, because I wrote some stuff. Oh yeah, musty, yep, bing, boom, bing. Okay, opens with, yep, only turn, yeah, spicy notes. Yeah, okay. So the boys, as I mentioned, they were like, I don't know, this one's for me, you know, uncertain. This is the one, because I know Elias loves the more animalic, deeper notes, and I asked him to put it on skin. So this is the one that he actually reluctantly put on his arm, only because they had limited. I only asked him to put on 3 fragrances, no more. And so I was taking some real estate away from some of the fragrances. Now, his mention, look, in the end, it's not something that he completely loved, but we were going out for lunch that particular day, and we were in a very, we were in a burger joint, essentially, a lot of greasy, fatty smells in the air, and yet Nerone was cutting through all that, and it was the fragrance I was smelling the most. He had DOLCE PASSIONE, wrong fragrance for that environment. DOLCE PASSIONE was getting consumed by the fatty smells that were in this place, whereas the Nerone was popping, and it was, I mean, we were probably about 1.5 meters apart, and I could smell it very clearly. For me, as I said, gorgeous. I thought it had patchouli in the base because of this musty dampness that's sort of, you know, in the background. It does not have patchouli. It does have oud. I had inquired or had a look. It does have oud in the base, but not what I love about it, it doesn't have a pronounced fecal animalic oud. It's actually, it has presence, it has, you know, bones, but it's not, the balance is spectacular. That's my bottom line. And as I said before, it has all these pieces all the way through it, where it teases you with this beautiful fruit or beautiful sweetness, and then it turns on you with more deeper, darker notes. The balance is incredible. It does have a passion fruit in the heart of it, and it's interesting because I do love passion fruit in fragrances, but I find that passion fruit tends to be a lot brighter and a lot happier. Take a fragrance like, so if you like Acan, for instance, by Kajal, it has semblance to that, but nothing like it at the same time. The semblance, because Acan also has passion fruit and things of that nature, but that passion fruit comes out very quickly in Acan on the opening, whereas here, not so much. You're getting that burnt sugar first, and you're getting the sweetness, and then sort of bounces in and out. It does have a spicy, almost cinnamon bark sort of scent profile to it. It does have like a cinnamon, not gourmand, but that cinnamon spiciness to it. It does have saffron. It could be the saffron that's also creating that piece. That does have saffron in the heart, I think, or the opening, and does have leather. So these two notes are also playing quite a bit in that fragrance too. I love, okay, I wrote here, yeah, spicy, but not gourmand. Yeah, I think what I love about it is that it is dark, mysterious, and yeah, mysterious, that's the word. It keeps you guessing. You're like, what is this fragrance exactly? But always enticing, always alluring, and always just, you know, trying to tease you to come close. Another one where the smell, or the presence that the fragrance has, its sillage, is just magical. I do love smelling it up close. I do like the dampness, that oudiness that has in there, but it's definitely one that would project well in the air. I was wearing it during the tennis. Now the tennis is, well, while I was there, it punishes you. I mean, you sweat so much. It's in our Aussie summer, so you're sweating, you're working. So I tested all these fragrances. They are robust. So in this very extreme environment, all of these fragrances that I just shared stayed with me 6+ hours. So I think in a normal day-to-day, go to the office, go out for dinner, whatever it may be, you're gonna get 8+ hours without a problem. Nerone was incredible. It stayed. The more I sweat, the more it was present, the more the air around me was just intoxicating with this fragrance. I did get a lot of comments when I was wearing this particular fragrance. I did get like, "Wow, you're smelling great today." Everybody knows I'm the niche fragrance collector at the AO, and so yeah, so they're always aware that, you know, what fragrance are you wearing today? And this one here always was popping and was always present when it comes to the detection in the air. Beep, bop, boom, I'm done. All right, small drink. So these are the gorgeous fragrances from Pantheon. If you want to know more, if you want to experience firsthand, discover what we're up to, check out the Italy luxury tour that that we've already launched and we're about to expand more on. And yeah, hang tight. I promise that I'll be doing a lot more content when it comes to these guys, just to show off how beautiful these fragrances are. It's one that, as I think I mentioned, that we don't have here in Australia, so I do have to go overseas to enjoy. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed this Mate Talk. I am back. Boom. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in the chair. It's good to be before you all and to be able to roll out 2025 and some of the exciting things that we've got planned. Please send me write your comments. Excuse me. I'm doing my best to answer as much as I can. It's my mission for the year. Let's see how well I accomplish. We're about to come up to our 4th anniversary. We're only 4 years old. We're about to be 4 years old. So I'm still fairly new, working very hard to make this my only thing that I do, so that I can just dedicate myself to all things NFC and dedicate myself to all things when it comes to this beautiful space that I'm trying to expand in. The reason why I was saying 4th anniversary is because we're going to be doing some promo specials. I will be celebrating my birthday, or celebrating NFC's birthday with some promo. So if you are a member, you'll get a few extra benefits there. It'll be open to everybody, but if you become a member, you also get a few extra things. I'll tell you more. That's enough. Have an awesome week, everyone. We'll see you next week. This Sunday, nothing, but then we're back into the flow. And if you're able to make it and come to Exxence or come to the foyer in Milan, I'd look forward to catching up with you in person. Arrivederci, baby.